One film I haven't seen in a long time, which I was mildly kind of looking forward to rewatching, was the 1998 film Deep Rising. I honestly did not remember too much about it, but I do remember having seen it when it was first out, and I think I pretty much forgot the movie for a reason. It was pretty flat. It definitely did not hold well over time, and I honestly do not remember if it was considered a good movie at the time. From everything that I've run across, it seems to have been a flop, and I know due to budget cuts, certain actors were changed. I know one of the lead roles was originally offered to Harrison Ford, who turned it down, which allowed budgeting for the film to be cut. Also, one of the lead actresses who had been contracted for the film also dropped out due to creative differences, and Famke Janssen was hired onto the film. Initially, the producers were hesitant to hire her on because they felt that she would have been too noticeable due to Goldeneye, and I honestly don't think so. I disagree. She definitely did look a lot different then than she does now, but she is still very noticeable. She plays her role fairly well. She does play a thief, kind of one of those hammy type roles, not necessarily the damsel in distress, but definitely the whole looks like a lady but does not act like a total lady type deal. Obviously she's a liar and a thief, but she's very prim and proper within her means about it, which is interesting. But the film just feels very flat. There's something missing. It opens up with a boat of mercenaries who have been contracted to head out to some remote location. The person who hired them has not given them any information. Obviously they're not asking for information either, but we later discover that they're planning to hijack a cruise ship, and that they were in league with the owner, who is just trying to collect the insurance money due to a financial miscalculation. Along the way we have some crazy sea monster type creature, which looks like sort of like a weird octopus or tentacle type thing. One of the crew members assumes that it's some sort of a worm which liquefies its victims and just pretty much discards whatever it does not need for nutrients. We later realize this creature is actually a kraken, which has been leading the crew members down into the lower area of the ship so that it could get a hold of them. Pretty much an extremely basic plot. We do have the standard comedic relief character as well as the meathead character, but the one-liners really are not too interesting. The dialogue is not very snappy or catchy. Everything's just fairly blah, just very straightforward played, and I guess that may have been one of the main reasons I did not remember the movie. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad film, but it definitely is lacking. It's dull, and in my opinion it really has not held up over time. The film had originally been released onto VHS and DVD in 1998. Both versions of the film are now out of print, but I do believe that the film was later released in 2012 onto Blu-ray, and it was packaged with puppet masters. So to my understanding, that is the only possible way in which one may still obtain or acquire the film. But quite honestly, it's definitely a very dull, very flat film. I really don't see anything too interesting about it. Fairly decent cast. They do a good acting job. It's just that you really cannot do too much with a flat plot and bad dialogue. But honestly, really nothing too memorable about this film, which to me was kind of disappointing because I was looking forward to revisiting the film and trying to see if there were any scenes which I did remember, and I completely drew a blank on the film. I honestly forgot that the creature itself was a kraken and described it as a chimera, which it was not a mixture of different sea creatures. It was just a giant octopus type creature just wanting to gobble everyone up, which it pretty much did, but it still wanted the remainder of the crew which were on the ship. I wouldn't recommend it unless you really just want something to do on a Sunday when you're bored and there's nothing else to watch. Then I'd say go for it, but Unless you're a fan of Famke Janssen, I really wouldn't recommend it, which even she cannot save the film, but that is pretty much all I have for today. I will talk to you later.